Somewhere in America right now, a McDonald's franchise owner is quietly having the best financial year of their life. And somewhere else, someone just got turned down after spending years trying to get approved. Today we're finding out what it actually takes to own a McDonald's, because I promise you, it is nothing like what you think it is. By the end of this video, you'll understand why a company that sells cheeseburgers for a few dollars has quietly become one of the hardest businesses on the planet to buy your way into. This isn't really a video about you buying a McDonald's. It's a video about understanding a business you drive past almost every day without ever actually seeing it. Let's get into it. Here's what most people assume happens. You save up some cash, fill out an application, shake hands with a McDonald's rep, and you're flipping patties under the golden arches by next Friday. That is not even close to reality. Getting approved to own a single McDonald's is one of the most selective processes in American business, and most people who reach out never even make it to the paperwork. So let's start with the number everyone Googles first. The official McDonald's franchise fee is $45,000. Sounds almost reasonable, right? That's less than plenty of pickup trucks these days. But that $45,000 is really just the cover charge. It is not remotely close to what you actually need. Once you add the real estate, the kitchen equipment, the building itself, signage, opening inventory, and staff training, the real total investment for a single McDonald's in America lands somewhere between $1 million and just over $2.7 million. And McDonald's does not let you finance most of that. Roughly 40% of it typically has to be cash you already have sitting in your account. No loans allowed. But here's the part that eliminates almost everyone before they even start. McDonald's requires proof that you already have at least $500,000 in liquid, non-borrowed funds just to be considered. Not money you could theoretically raise, money that already exists, untouched, right now. Franchise consultants say the comfortable number is actually closer to $750,000 once you account for the cushion McDonald's wants to see. For context, that's more cash than most Americans will save across their entire working life, and it only gets you a seat at the table. Most people who inquire never clear this one requirement, and this is only step one. Now let's say you clear that bar. You've got the money, you still cannot just walk up, pick a corner lot downtown and build one. Something almost nobody realizes, in most of the country, McDonald's is not actively hunting for brand new outside franchisees at all. The overwhelming majority of new owners come from one of two paths. Either they already work inside the system, climbing from crew member to shift manager to store manager over years and eventually get invited to buy in, or an existing franchisee is retiring or cashing out, and McDonald's handpicks who gets to take over that exact restaurant. Cold applications from complete outsiders do exist, but they're rare. And in a lot of markets, the wait just to be considered can stretch on for years. And once you're finally approved, you still don't get to run anything yet. First comes 12 to 18 months of hands-on training, including time at McDonald's own internal business school, literally called Hamburger University, where future owners learn everything from food safety science to staff scheduling to reading a profit and loss statement like a Wall Street analyst. And when you finally do sign, you're not committing for a couple of years. You're locking into a franchise agreement that typically runs for 20 years. Here's the part that will change how you look at every McDonald's parking lot for the rest of your life. You'd assume McDonald's makes its money selling burgers and fries. It doesn't. Not really. McDonald's Corporation owns roughly 70% of the buildings and about 45% of the land that its restaurants sit on, worldwide. That idea goes all the way back to the 1950s, when the team building McDonald's into an empire realized the real long-term win was not selling more burgers, it was owning the ground underneath them. Which means, in a massive number of cases, becoming a franchisee doesn't just mean buying a burger business, it means becoming McDonald's Corporation's tenant. You lease the building and the land directly from them, and instead of paying flat rent, you hand over a percentage of your total sales, commonly somewhere around 8 to 12% every single month, good year or bad year. Now stack that on top of the ongoing royalty fee, which sits at 4 to 5% of gross sales, depending on your agreement, plus another minimum 4% that automatically funds McDonald's national advertising machine. Add it up, and franchisees are commonly signing away close to a fifth of every dollar that walks through the door before they've paid for a single beef patty, a single employee, or a single kilowatt of electricity. And yet, despite every one of those numbers, interest in owning a McDonald's has never really slowed down. That's because franchisees aren't just buying a building and a fryer. They're buying more than 80 years of brand trust, a supply chain that's already fully built out, and the customer base that shows up whether the economy is booming or falling apart. It's one of the reasons a McDonald's franchise agreement gets treated less like a business purchase and more like an inheritance, something people spend years, sometimes decades, angling for a shot at. None of that makes it easy money, though. Even once you're finally running the place, this is not some passive investment where checks show up in the mail on their own. A single restaurant can mean managing 50 to 80 crew members across rotating shifts, hitting drive-through speed targets down to the second, staying on top of food safety audits, and now keeping up with digital ordering kiosks and delivery apps that didn't even exist a decade ago. Owning a McDonald's is less like buying a stock and more like signing up to run a small factory that never closes. So, after the money, the years of waiting, and the fee stack, is it actually worth it? Here's where the story flips. The average McDonald's in America now pulls in over $4 million a year in sales, the highest average of any burger chain in the country, and that number has been climbing year after year. After food costs, labor, rent, and every fee on the list, a well-run single location can still put several $100,000 a year straight into its owner's pocket. And almost nobody who actually succeeds in this system stops at one restaurant. The real money isn't in owning one McDonald's, it's in owning 10, 20, or in some cases well over 100, because every additional restaurant multiplies that income, while McDonald's own training pipeline and supply chain do most of the heavy lifting. Zoom all the way out and look at what this whole system has actually built. There are now more than 45,000 McDonald's spread across over 100 countries, feeding roughly 70 million people a single day, and generating well over $26 billion in revenue a year for the corporation alone. 70 million people is close to the entire population of France walking through a set of golden arches every 24 hours. And here's the wildest part. About 95% of those 45,000 restaurants are not owned by McDonald's Corporation at all. They're owned by regular people who once sat exactly where you're sitting right now, wondering if any of this was even possible. So, do you actually want to own a McDonald's? Realistically, most of us watching this never will, and that's completely fine, because most of us were never going to sit on $500,000 in untouched cash and spend a year and a half studying burger science just to get the keys to a drive-thru. But now you know exactly what's really happening every single time you pull up and order a McFlurry. Somebody spent years earning their way in, bet their entire savings on a franchise agreement thicker than a phone book, and became a landlord's tenant just to sell you fries. And maybe that's the real headline here. The most American fast food chain on earth was never really built on flipping burgers fast. It was built on picking exactly the right people, running them through a brutal filter, and trusting them to operate a machine most of us will only ever experience from the drive-thru lane. If that messed with your head a little, that was exactly the point. Next time you're sitting in that drive-thru line, you're not just waiting on fries. You're looking at the finish line of somebody's decade-long climb. See you in the next one.